You mentioned that people can do it together as well. So I just wanted to ask you, you're doing the same thing right now, and you have cleared the first one, and you'll be going for the second one. So how should people manage two different things together? Because in MBA, you have all of your currently pursuing, you have all of your placements and internships and all of that stress, and along with this other thing. So how do you manage?
Actually, there is this saying in the world of CFA that when the CFA stops, as the CA stops working, the work of CFA starts.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of Skilled Sapiens. Today in our podcast, we have with us Anvit. A little about me, your host, I'm Prerna, and Anvit is our guest today. A little about Skilled Sapiens. First, we are a community that help people bring out the potential in them truly and help you get evolved with us. So, joining us today is Anvit, and we will be hearing all about his journey, a little about him. He is currently pursuing MBA from IFMR and he has cleared his CFA Level 1 exam. So, let us hear the journey from him himself. Thank you so much, Anvit, for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, Prerna, for inviting me to your podcast. As you already told, I'm currently doing my MBA from IFMR Institute Global School, and I had done my CFA Level 1 in year 2023. And I did my graduation from SRM University, that is in Chennai, and I did my bachelor's in technology, and my specialization was in automobile engineering. So rest you can ask me further questions regarding CFA level.
Yeah, so that is a very interesting combination.
Hello.
You did your BTech first, and then you moved over to a finance
Yeah,
field.
I did my BTech.
What brought that over?
Yeah, so actually, I wouldn't say that finance was always in my mind. After doing my BTech, I joined a company, and that was a sales company, and I was there for quite a bit. I mean, 3 to 6 months I was there, but I didn't like the work culture over there. So I started searching for another opportunities, and some of the other way, the job market wasn't that good for automobile engineers at that time, and I got an opportunity in one of the NBFC firms. So I joined as credit analyst over there. They just took a basic interview of mine, and they saw enthusiasm in me, and just for on a trial basis, they actually hired me for 1 month. And the condition was, if I performed well, then I would be recruited in that position. So totally unsure about the work culture over there and what kind of work I would be doing. I actually joined the company, and later on I performed really well in that domain. I actually started liking the domain in which I was hired, and within 6 months of time, I was actually promoted to team lead position with the model which I made. So my model performed really well. The credit model which I made for the company, I actually brought down the NPA rate to around 3%. So from there on, bit by bit, the interest came deeper into the finance domain. And after 1 year, I actually started my own startup by seeing that actually the CEO was pretty young, and I got really inspired by him that at such a young age, actually he was at my age. So I actually started my own company. So after running my company for 1.5 years, I actually thought of, and within that time period, the COVID thing happened. And right after the COVID, after 6 months, the market went up to a complete bull run. The market was going on an upper trajectory, and I actually started trading. Not trading specifically, I was into swing trader. I was a swing trader, and my portfolio performed really well at that time. And because of that, my interest in finance got deeper. Although I have small actually experience in credit domain, I actually applied that same knowledge to my stocks, and therein I developed more and more interest into the domain. Then over the time, what happened was I actually because after coming back from my office, I had around 4 to 5 hours of spare time to actually do something, and I was actually doing nothing. So I thought of doing a finance course. In meanwhile, I just started searching for different finance courses and all. Then I came to know about this course. I got deeper into the subject, that what all things they are offering, and I really was fascinated to know that they are actually into investment side. And I just thought it was nowhere. I actually thought of, okay, let's give level one, see what happens. Even that would give me a clearer idea whether or not to pursue finance in future domain. That was actually the plan B if my starter didn't work. So at that time, I actually enrolled in CFA level, and that's how journey started for me.
And that is so great. And I'm really, congratulations that you discovered this new side of you. So, digging more into the topic, when people think of, pursuing finance, two things come into people's mind. One is CA and one is CFA. So, having pursued CFA, could you maybe enlighten all our viewers a little about the difference between the two?
Yeah, sure. Actually, there is this saying in the world of CFA that when the CFA stops, as the CA stops working, the work of CFA starts. So CA is more into taxation, accounting, and compliance part a lot. Okay, they are actually more into accounting part and very less about the investment part. Though they have good knowledge about that field, but they are not deeply into the investment part. But as far as the CFA is concerned, someone who is not from accounting background, some like suppose for me, who is from a BTech background, has no knowledge about finance, they for them to actually come into the field of finance, the doorway is CFA and an MBA in finance. Two things can be done. And for them, CFA, and also more specifically the guys who actually want to go into investment banking domain, risk domain, or many other domain which are not directly related to the accounting part, they can actually pursue CFA, and I would say. So for them, they would be good. And for accountants, yeah, even CA after doing completing their CA, they actually prefer doing CFA if they want to enter into corporate world, apart from doing accounting and taxation work.
And according to you, what is like the most correct time to do it, if you could say it from your own experience? Because a lot of people think that first they'll get into MBA and then choose finance and then maybe get into CFA. So according to you, is it better to do it beforehand or after?
Actually, there are two kind of person. Okay, first of all, someone who is like me, who has no idea about whether or not to go with the finance field. So first, I'll talk about person who's like me, who has done BTech or any other non-commerce or non-finance course. For them to actually explore whether or not finance is cup of your plate, I mean tea. So for them, they could actually go with just a trial basis. They can actually pursue CFA level. That's what I did, because directly jumping into MBA finance is quite risky, because so, I mean, you have made up your mind, and after realize that you didn't like the subject, that would be really, I mean, costly for you. It would be like suppose IFMA. If someone comes with a marketing, if someone has entered into the college thinking in mind that he'll be joining finance, but some or the other way he realized that no, marketing is something which I like, see, finance is something which I cannot handle. So that is that 20 lakh would be worth for nothing, I would say, because it's a finance college. So for exploring your own interest, you can actually do CFA for sure. Okay, and the guys who have done commerce or they have their bachelor's done in finance, they surely can. I mean, for the commerce guy, they can either go with the CA. Later on, surely at any point of time, I mean, I have seen guys who are in at age of 50 and doing CFA level one, so they have no issues with that. They can pursue their CA and they can do it. For the guys who are actually in commerce, they have their own wishes. If they want, they can go with CFA level one, or they if they want, they can directly join MBA in finance, and at the same time they can pursue CFA level one, because the first year of MBA finance and the CFA level one course is, I mean, 90% matched. So it won't be a totally different trajectory. You can study in parallel and you can give your exam, but at the same time you have to manage your time accordingly.
That is very insightful. And you mentioned that people can do it together as well. So I just wanted to ask you, you're doing the same thing right now, and you have cleared the first one, and you'll be going for the second one. So how should people manage two different things together? Because in MBA, you have all of your currently pursuing, you have all of your placements and internships and all of that stress, and along with this other thing. So how do you manage?
Let me correct you. Actually, I did my CFA before my MBA, and but I have no one of my senior has done CFA while pursuing MBA. The only thing is required to clear an MBA is 3 hours, 2 hours of daily spare time spending just to CFA that is needed for around 6 months. Okay. For someone who is from finance background, it would take 4 months. Enough 4 months would be more than enough to clear CFA, but to the condition that he is devoting 2 to 3 hours daily. But someone who's like me, has no background in finance, should actually give around 6 to 7 months to CFA, because the biggest dilemma in the market is the CFA promises around 300 hours of study and then you can clear. See, that is total. I don't believe in that. Every person has its own capability, their own capability. And for me, it took around 4 to 5 hours daily study. Then I cleared CFA level 1. And for around 5 months, I did it. So it depends on person to person. For someone who is doing CFA parallelly with the MBA in finance, you have to actually spare a lot of time and give out a lot of time to CFA level, and you have to actually say no to many other things which are happening in college. For sure, you cannot go like, okay, I want to enjoy my MBA life, and at the same time you want to get good marks at your studies and CFA and all. Things won't go like that. Take smaller chunks at your plate, then you can pursue both the things at single time, and surely things would work out because they have worked out previously with my seniors.
Right. So having cleared CFA level 1, what is the next step forward in if you particularly want to go in this domain?
Currently, actually, I waited for around 1 year, and I haven't pursued my CFA level 2. But right now, actually, I've got my scholarship from my college. Actually, my college is CFA accredited. So
Okay.
I was actually selected for the CFA scholarship. So right now I'm into CFA level 2. I'm preparing for it. Clear CFA level 3 by end of the 2025. I want to clear it. So 2020, my MBA degree would constitute clearing CFA level 2. After completing my MBA at IFMA, I'll be pursuing CFA level 3. So this is the trajectory which I am looking forward to.
Well, we really hope that works out for you, and that is thank you so much for sharing that with us. So, coming back to the topic again, many people have this dilemma that MBA itself is kind of a costly course in itself, and CFA itself requires a certain amount of resources. So, is there like for students particularly, is there any particular aid that maybe they can avail that could make the financial burden easier if they want to prepare both together?
Actually, unfortunately, CFA doesn't offer such kind of scholarship. I think only there is one scholarship which is available. To girls, they have a women empowerment program. I don't know the exactly name, but they have the higher chances of getting CFA level 1 scholarship. But as far as boys are concerned, or the general public, so they have only access scholarship, which I don't know. I have applied 4 or 5 times to that and I haven't got any scholarship yet. But fortunately, if you get a college like IFMA, so there in this college is CFA accredited. So yearly, around 6 students get a chance for around, more than 50% scholarship from CFA level. So that would be a really breather for someone who is doing CFA level. But apart from that, I think if someone has made up his mind and is pretty sure with the part, when discipline is concerned, that he knows that he can actually devote those hours to CFA for sure for next 4 to 5 months, investing 1.5 lakhs or 1 lakhs to CFA is totally worth it, because MBA is the crown and the jewel is the CFA. So if CFA combined with MBA is, no matcher. You would be above sky. The next company would be there. The company managers would have actually made up their mind that you know a lot already about the finance. So the aura has already been created once you do the CFA level. So I strongly suggest, but at the condition that you have made up your mind that surely you are going to do it. Otherwise, if once you have failed the exam, all of your money is gone, and another 80,000, 70,000 you have to invest for another date for exam. So that is the thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, thanks for breaking that down for us. And I really liked how you explained it with the crown and the jewel analogy. That is very explained in simple yet profound terms. Thank you so much for that. So, coming towards the roles that you're expecting in the future, having cleared the first level already, and as you mentioned, you are going to clear the rest of it after your MBA. So, what future roles are you looking into right after MBA and maybe 5 years down the line?
Uh, right after MBA, I'm looking forward for a role in majorly. See, many would say that talking about risk is quite different from CFA. I don't believe that. Anyone who has done CFA can very well go into CFA to risk domain. For me, I'm looking forward to go into risk domain. Like it can be equity risk analyst or any of the risk analyst in the domain. See, I'm from tech background, so I can also go into tech risk. But few more options which I have opened for myself is business valuation domains, investment banking, middle office domains. So these are the roles which I'm looking forward to. And further in the year, these roles have only to go into managerial position, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
That is great. And like people who are just getting into this, or even maybe thinking about getting a CFA in the first place. So, according to you, is there any prerequisite that the person should have, any particular skills or talents that will make this journey easier for them?
Discipline is the only talent and skill that you need. I mean, CFA is one of the best organization I would say the humankind has, because the kind of curated course they have, it is very well planned for everyone to actually go. You can go and just read their books. You will know each and everything out there. And someone who has no finance knowledge like me can actually gain a lot from doing CFA. So even if you don't clear CFA, you'll gain a lot. That kind of course it is. And I haven't seen such a course which is too updated with the current era. I mean, being a simple student, if you have enrolled, even if you haven't enrolled for CFA, you can just drop a mail that this thing has been changed. They will actually form a committee and they will actually review that thing. And if it is viable, they will surely change it. So as you might have heard, CFA changes its course pattern a lot, even within span of 1 or 2 years. No other institution does such kind of things. So be rest assured, there are no prerequisites for pursuing CFA. Only dedication and perseverance are two things which is required to clear CFA.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sure all our viewers will find that very helpful. And there is such a big leap in your career from a very tech background and then you choosing to pursue CFA and then MBA and all of that comes with it. So personally, have you felt maybe a little lost at some point or maybe the challenges that you majorly faced during this span?
For me, it was really difficult doing things along with job. I mean, you get only 4 or 5 hours after your office hours, and that also devoting to a field which you aren't sure of. So for
Right.
me, actually, I made up my mind very early on that I won't be taking any external help like any coaching and all, because I had limited funds. I have invested all my money in my startup at that time. And actually, for me, what I did was I started reading all through the book which CFA has given me. I don't suggest anyone do the same, because see, it is around, I think, uh, there are around 10, 5 to 6 books, and with good with and all. So initially for 2 3 months I started just reading the books without solving any questions, and I was completely lost at the time. Although my concepts were getting clearer and clearer, but I lost hope that within 6 months I won't be able to complete for sure. Then at some point I actually thought that maybe I won't be able to clear it. But somehow I got into touch with the one Telegram community wherein CFA level 2 and level 3 candidates were there. Actually, voluntarily messaged them. I actually DM them, and I had a talk with one of the guys over there, and he guided me how to actually go about CFA level 1 if I want to clear in within 4 months. So he gave me a clear strategy, and I followed that strategy, and thereon I cleared it. So after that, there weren't any disappointment or low morale thing. Even when I went to examination hall giving my CFA level, I was pretty clear that I would be able to clear it, because my concepts were pretty clear because of the strategy which I followed.
Well, I'm really glad you found your strategist who helped you through this. And like for other people who are just starting this, like what would you suggest them? Because as you mentioned, there is a certain strategy. So how can they find their own?
Okay. So there are few things which I would like to state. See, in CFA, overconfidence should be left at the door and then you should enter the hall. So I have seen CAs not clearing CFA level 1.
Right.
So that is the first part one should actually have in within themselves. The second is revision is the key. I did the revision 3 to 4 times, complete course. So there was no question of not clearing CFA at that time. I had actually, I can actually tell at what page number, at what LOS number this particular concept is in the within the book, and also practicing more and more questions. So what I did was I actually went through the learning the concept, and within the console there are about n number, I mean good number of questions are provided by CFA, and there are more than enough. You need not have to buy any other course from external course to actually solve additional questions. Just solve those questions 2 3 times, and after reading a concept I actually went on to those concepts and I solved it. And what I did was, so there is this concept in marketing is I mean backward integration. So what I did was, after reading the concepts, I actually solved the questions, and I wasn't able to solve. I actually went back to the concept again and actually dwelled deeper into the thing that what made me do this question wrong. And by going deeper and deeper into that problem, I went to actually explore more and more concepts behind it, and things got more and more clearer. I followed this strategy on weekly basis, that okay, 2 days I would be spending on going with the concepts. 2 days I will be solving questions from n number of sources, or only the CFA questions which are available in the console. And then going back to the concept again, finding the loopholes, okay, covering the loopholes, and then coming back to the next concept. This is the strategy which I followed. I didn't take ethics like subject at very initial stage. I made it because that is complete theory. Many do mistakes of a mistake of actually picking up ethics at very first stage. I strongly do not recommend it. Rather, take it within the last 1 month of the exam. That is more than enough. So take some few interesting subjects as the at the beginning, like you can take corporate issuers or alternative investments at the beginning to actually get yourself more intermingled into the course, so that you develop interest, and then you can choose harder subjects. And this is the mantra which I followed. And also, so this is the thing which I followed, that within 1 week, concepts, questions, again coming back to the concept. Week on week, week on week, week on week, I followed the same strategy, and actually it worked for me.
That is great that it worked for you, and thank you so much for sharing your strategy with us. I'm sure all our viewers will find that very, very helpful indeed. And lastly, I'd just like to ask you, anybody who is pursuing maybe the same career, or someone who's an engineer who wants to follow your steps, what would be your advice to them, having went through all of this on your own?
For an engineer to actually follow my step, first of all, he has to actually develop interest in finance. Further, you have to actually see within yourself whether or not you want to pursue this field. Just because, see, there is this hype in market that finance people are earning well and all. See,
Right.
every field, people are there and they are earning pretty well, unless or until they are actually are masters at their field. So for them to actually explore this field, you can take small courses, or if you have sufficient fund, you can take courses like CFA. Okay, so at that time, if you cleared the CFA, even if you didn't clear the CFA, if you have got the interest, I mean, if you have got the energy to actually sit for another exam, if you failed for the first one, then things are pretty clear that you want to go into this field for sure. So for engineers, there are a lot of scope in this field. CFA actually right now, at my time, they haven't included Python in their course. Right now, they have actually included Python also. So programming is also, the tech element is pretty much on the higher side as far as the finance is concerned in CFA. So that is this. So that is what they can follow. So first of all, you need to actually see whether or not you are interested in finance, and then you can pursue it.
Right. And along the way, all of the other steps that you took, is there anything particularly that you would suggest some people to not do? Something that, to avoid?
Don't go and read the curriculum books which are provided. I would, I mean, if you have got 7 months, 8 months of time, you can do it out of interest. But if you are in time crunch and if you have got limited hours, I would rather suggest if you can get a coaching. Okay, that would be really easy for you, and because they are really well structured, they will guide you very well. The instructor will guide you really well. They have curated questions also according to the learning outcomes and the concept which they'll teach you. For the ones who haven't got fund for actually having and if they want to pursue things on their own, they can actually find, they say, like YouTubers like Mark Meldrum at my time, they were providing free videos over YouTube. So I was referring to those videos as well. So they can go with that and they can clear their concept. And I strongly suggest if I would strongly suggest that if you have got a time crunch, don't read the complete volumes which are provided by CFA. It's too lengthy to do. You will forget what you have learned.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us and all of your insights that you did. And thank you so much for being the amazing guest that you are. And we would really love to host you again. So thank you so much, Anvit, for joining us today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me. Hope my insight would benefit someone or the other. And looking forward to have more podcasts with you guys.
Absolutely. Your insights will be very, very helpful to all of our viewers. And they'll surely like to thank you too. And so, guys, that is
Thanks.
it for today. And I hope you liked our episode and find it as insightful as I did. If you did, please leave us a comment down below and subscribe to our channel. And we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.